Good morning and quip. How are we all doing?
Hello. Good.
Good. That was very energetic from Alien. Ross was just like, hi.
I know.
Hi.
What can I say?
I love
for Christmas.
I was just, your Christmas stuff looks pretty good. Puts me to shame.
Thanks.
What is this?
I mean,
He's got the fire going. He's got the fire going.
ignore the mess.
Well, Christmas is about the mess as well, isn't it?
It is.
True.
So, in announcement news, this will be the last equip and the last youth collective. Couldn't say that, they're a youth collective.
Sometimes.
That's what Andy White used to say. So this will be the last equip and youth collective and last week of house groups too, I think, until like 10th of January.
Yeah.
So quite a while in the future. Ooh, scary.
Lots
But
of
exciting Christmas stuff on the way. Like
we
Very
do.
true.
We have lots of exciting Christmas stuff happening. Most of it's happening on the 20th, so next Sunday. So next Sunday morning, we're going to have an all-age nativity service on Zoom. So look out for the Zoom code in the bulletin. Come join us. It's for everyone to come and join us and have a look at what the kids have been doing. And there'll be lots of like games and stuff as well to get involved in. So please join in that. It would be great to see you. And then during the day on the 20th, there's going to be a digivan coming around all of Kirky and Glenzie. It's going to have a carol service playing on the side of it on big screens on the side. So have a look out for that. And if it comes to your street, then please come out and join everyone and singing along with the carols and listening to what people have to say. And then also on the 20th, we have 3 carol services. All 3 of them should be pretty similar. So it's just to book into one so that we can all get into the church to kind of be involved in that. So they are at 5 o'clock, 6:30 and 8 o'clock, all in the church building, but you need to sign up on Eventbrite. The link should be somewhere on social media. So please join in with that as well. It'll be great to see you. We want as many people in the church for Christmas as possible. So yeah, it'd be great to get involved in that as well. I think, and we also have on Christmas morning, we are going to be having a small beginning service. We keep an eye out what's actually going to happen with that. We're not too sure on the logistics, but look out. It'll be on Christmas morning, probably about 10:30. Small beginnings will be happening. So yeah, have a look out for that as well.
woo.
Awesome. And in other news, so the 20th is going to be a pretty packed day. But on Friday 18th, we are going to have an escape room, a virtual Zoom escape room. The house groups are going to be pitted against each other. So make sure this week, while you're at your house group, drum up attention for it. Let anyone that doesn't know about it, get signed up, get on for it. It'll be a great laugh. And there will be more details to come, I'm sure, in kind of this week running up to it. So yeah, get signed up for it. It'll be brilliant. So if that's it for announcements, we're going to welcome in at the moment Jamie. So let's have a round of applause for Jamie.
It's Jamie!
Hey!
Hello! Hey guys! How are you? Hello.
We're good. Well, I speak collectively. You guys good?
Yeah.
Fabulous, we're all good. Right, so we're going to try and get to know you a bit more, Jamie.
Okay.
And we're going to start with some quick fire, this or that. So we haven't sent you this to prepare. You're just going to have to fire them off at us.
Oh no.
Okay, you ready? Okay, here we go. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Oh, football or rugby?
Rugby, but I don't like either.
Sorry, Ross. Pepsi or Coke?
Again, neither, but the Coke probably if I had to pick.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's, 100%.
Yeah, ooh, controversial. Online church or in-person church?
In person, definitely in person.
Chocolate or sweets is the next one.
Chocolate, definitely chocolate.
Okay. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Summer or winter is the last one.
Probably winter, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
You just get to bundle up your hot chocolate and just, perfect excuse for just sitting in your room all day.
Yes, cozy season. I love it.
Good call.
Yes.
Good call.
Perfect. Right, so a little bit more, I was going to say more serious questions. Yeah, getting to know you, some more serious questions.
All right then.
So, how have you been finding, like, you're back at school, how have you been finding wearing a mask in school? Do you have to wear a mask in school?
Yeah, not in classes, but just when we're walking around the corridors.
Yeah.
I've got one of the masks that's really flimsy, and as soon as not flimsy as if it's bad, but as soon as I turn my head like that, it'll just fall right down.
Mhm.
So it's a pain having to pick it up every 2 seconds.
So, apart from mask, like, do you have any favourite subjects at the moment?
Yes, I've got a few.
Go
If I
for
had
it.
to, if I had to pick three, I'd probably say music to start with. Yeah, I can see me the
Yes.
band just yes. um, maths. I really like maths.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it.
You're speaking my language.
Thank you. I'll take that. And probably biology. Really like that.
Oh, interesting. Ross, do you like biology? I feel like we could get one each.
See, no, I'm not gonna lie. No,
All right.
it's, in all fairness, mostly due to my teachers, but I was more physics than that. But
Fair enough.
still, three very solid choices.
If you like biology, let me show you this. I
Oh,
think I've showed this before, but Jamie, you've not seen it. So this is a plant that I have, and this
Alright
is
then.
a bit of wood that I painted, right? And I left them next to each other. It just so this this plant grew. You can see there's a little hole in there. Grew into this bit of wood. Biology magic. They grew. They fused together. But apparently, the Lord wasn't having it today. So another question I have would be, over lockdown, was there anything you did that, like helped you to get through, or something you wouldn't normally have done? Was there anything new, like a skill you found?
Yeah, I didn't. A lot of people would like try learning a language. I just went for runs.
Oh,
Best thing to do. It's the most stereotypical thing to do, but it works.
Oh,
Works
wow.
a charm.
So you've been to Youth Collective a few times, haven't you?
Yeah,
Did you enjoy it?
I thought it was really good.
Fabulous. Would you say so? Well, it's going to be stopping now for over Christmas, but when things are a bit back to normal and after Christmas, would you recommend that people come and join us?
Absolutely. Like anybody. You don't even have to be Christian. You don't even have to be part of blooming KBC. You just come to Equip. It's fantastic.
Yes. Yes, that's
Join
the
the army.
recommendation we need.
feeling the love.
Yeah.
Well, today, Jamie, we are talking about the last commandment. We are on the 10th commandment this week,
Yes.
and it is about not coveting your neighbour's things. So, what I was going to ask you was, covet isn't really a word that we regularly use in our day-to-day life normally.
No.
When you think about this word, what do you think it means?
Well, for me, when you say covet, the first thing that comes to mind is just being jealous of someone, envying what they have over, like, just what you have, and jealousy and stealing, that type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it's kind of like not wanting what the things that other people have, basically. Yeah.
And that goes on to break like 4 of the other commandments.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, I was just about to say, Ross is actually going to be talking about coveting and how that can lead on to breaking other commandments. Can you think of a time where you've seen someone breaking a commandment because they've coveted something?
There's plenty in the Bible. For example, David.
Mm-hmm.
He just looked at a woman, thought, "I want that one." Killed her husband.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
and you would say that's how the cookie crumbles, but I don't think that's perfect. That's quite right in this scenario.
So, last question. Maybe looking at that example of David and Bathsheba, how do you think that they could have maybe stopped that situation happening, or if just in a hypothetical situation, if anyone has coveted something and ended up breaking even more commandments, how would you say we could stop that from happening?
Well, obviously the answer would be to stay close to God and just help him see, help him to let you see what's good in your life. That's really important. But if I could think of any practical examples, I guess I'd just say don't look at other people's things. There you go. Still care for others. It's confusing. It's hard. It's a mess. Care for others, but don't envy others. There you go.
Love it.
Amazing. Yes.
Thank you so much, Jamie.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
So, Jamie, do you have anything that at the moment we can be praying for you?
Right now, I just would ask for prayers for my family because we're going through a pretty difficult time with my grandpa passing away and all. So I just pray that you can just ask that you can pray to God to help him comfort us, just be with us, help us know that it's all in his plan. Yeah, just help with school because that's, despite having good subjects, is just sometimes a mess and a pain. But yeah.
Cool. Let's do
Sure.
that then.
Good thing. Yeah, God, we just want to thank you for Jamie. We want to thank you for bringing him here this morning to chat to us. We're so thankful he wanted to get involved and to give us his thoughts on this topic for today. We want to just pray your hand over his family at the moment, God, that as they go through such a difficult time, that they'll know your hand of peace upon them, and that you'll be able to remind them that this is in your plan, no matter how hard it is for them at the moment. Yeah, and just that they'll be able to feel that sense of peace. And I pray as well for school. As we all know, school can be tough at times, and I just pray that you'll be right there next to Jamie as he goes about his day, helping him where you can and just reminding him of your love for him. And I pray that just as he comes up to February, that as he's choosing his subjects, that you'll be able to give him a clear idea. He seems to have a clear idea already of what subjects he wants to do, but God, I just pray that you'll confirm those for him, so that you can help him move down the path that you have laid out for his life. I pray all these things in your name. Amen.
Thank you very much, Ross. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So now we're going to be moving on to Ross, who's going to chat to us about the 10th commandment. So let's go to Ross, and thank you so much, Jamie. See you later.
No worries. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for that, guys. That was awesome. It feels like just yesterday that we started our series on the 10 Commandments, and already we're at the end of it. And it's almost Christmas, which is so awesome. Buzzing for it. So just as we've done every other week, we'll start off by reading the verse itself. So this one is Exodus 20, verse 17. You shall not covet your neighbour's house. You shall not covet your neighbour's wife, or his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbour. So in a similar fashion to the past few weeks, we're going to look at this verse in two different ways. Firstly, we're going to look at how the verse itself impacts us, and secondly, we're going to look at what it means carrying that out in today's society for us as young Christians. Now, compared to the verses prior to this one, verse 17 is considerably longer. It repeats itself and goes into great detail about the things we shouldn't covet over. You might be wondering why it does this, and well, part of the reason is because coveting can feed into so many of the other 10 commandments, and in this we're going to take a look at how it can do that. So right in the middle of the verse, we see it tells us, you shall not covet your neighbour's wife. Something that will help us to kind of understand this a bit better is the different meanings of the word covet. One of those is to have an unhealthy desire for something, which we can think about it a bit easier that way because covet is not a word that we often use in our day-to-day language, and it allows us to see where it fits into the other commandments. When we looked at the 7th commandment, you shall not commit adultery, we saw how destructive lustful desire in the Bible is for David. David coveted Bathsheba, a woman who was not just not his wife, but she was also the wife of one of the men within his army. The coveting that he has for her leads to him having an affair, which as a result ends up in a pregnancy. And this then follows on into David lying to Uriah and being really deceitful in order to try and cover up his mistake, bringing Uriah back to try and get him to sleep with his wife so they would think that it was his child and not David's. But this plan falls through. Eventually we see Uriah, who in this story is just an innocent bystander, he gets killed because David was so desperate to cover up his mistake. Can you see how quickly the domino effect begins? Coveting led David to lies, manipulation, and murder. Now, I used this verse last time, but if we take a look at Matthew 5:28, we can remind ourselves of what Jesus says about this. So it reads, "But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart." When we look at someone we find attractive, it's not just about stopping ourselves from sinning by choosing not to allow our thoughts to wander into the area of lusting, but it also becomes an issue of respecting the other human who is one of God's children, just like you or I. How would you like it if someone perhaps you didn't even know, a total stranger, was secretly sinning by lusting over you? It's not a really nice thing to think about. Now, if we move on to the next section of the verse, "You shall not covet his male or female servant." We can see there, back in that day, I'm sure service wouldn't have been cheap. They would have only been for the incredibly wealthy, the incredibly rich within the society that would have had servants. And it would have given them a really comfortable lifestyle. They wouldn't really have ever had to have done any housework. So when it talks about coveting after our neighbour's male or female servant, it's telling us not to covet after their life or their lifestyle that they lead. Everything that we have has been given to us by God in one way or another. And by beginning to covet another person's lifestyle, we can grow ungrateful for all that we do have. If you spend all your days looking at the possessions and life of another person, wishing that they were yours, and coveting over it, then you'll miss out on everything that God has already blessed you with. A prime example of this is King Ahab. Ahab will have been unbelievably wealthy, and I'm pretty sure he will have lived a pretty comfortable, lavish lifestyle. But one day he sees a vineyard next to his palace, which is owned by a man called Naboth. And as soon as Ahab sees it, he decides he wants it. So he goes to Naboth with a proposition. So we find this in 1 Kings chapter 21 verse 2. "And after this, Ahab said to Naboth, 'Give me your vineyard, that I may have it for a vegetable garden, because it is near my house. I will give you a better vineyard for it, or if it seems good to you, I'll give you its value in money.'" Now, we see Naboth tells Ahab that the Lord has forbidden him from giving the vineyard to Ahab because it was an inheritance from his father. It was something given to his family by God, and he saw the importance of it. And as a result, you watch Ahab, he goes away and he becomes so upset by the fact he couldn't have this vineyard that he refuses to eat. You'd imagine that you're almost thinking about a toddler in this scenario acting this way when they don't get a toy, but we're talking about a king in this situation. A king who's been blessed with so much. So we see Ahab's wife, she comes up with this really deceitful plan to orchestrate a situation where they can get the vineyard off of Naboth. They declared a time of fasting, and in this they set 2 men against him, and these men are described as being worthless. They bring a charge against him, and Naboth curses against the king and God, and as a result he's taken aside and he's stoned to death. Ahab finally gets his vineyard. He gets what he's looking for. All these examples we see of someone allowing themselves to covet something or someone end horribly. Even when it doesn't have a very real consequence, like a life being lost, these things can begin to control your life. Now, this might come in the form of spending hours and hours thinking about it, how much you want this thing or that you need it. Or it might come in the form of influencing your every decision so that you get it, just like we see in the examples of David and King Ahab. This is the way that it can become an idol, which, in case you hadn't already realised, is yet another commandment it can cause you to break. All the time spent coveting over the person or item, it takes away from time that we could spend with God, and it can take away from our opportunities to grow in our faith. If you don't control your thoughts, they can become so damaging not just to you spiritually, but can also have very real physical effects. There have been studies done to figure out what physical effects negative mental behaviour can have on a person. And here's just some of the ones that I found listed online. So it can quicken your heart rate, it can increase your respiration, it shunts blood to parts of the body more important for survival, such as the brain or the muscles, and away from those less important, such as the skin or the digestive system. It can suppress your digestion, it increases your blood pressure, and it increases activity in parts of the brain responsible for danger detection and reaction. But it reduces activity in parts of the brain responsible for executive functions such as rational thinking, self-control, and working memory. We've all been given the bodies we have by God, and we need to do our best to look after them and to nurture them. And this doesn't just mean by exercising and eating a balanced diet. It also means mentally we have to take care of ourselves, and this commandment can help us to do that. By stopping ourselves coveting other people's things or lifestyles, or just anything that we don't have, can allow our mind to become more free, able to spend more time with God in quiet, growing in our faith, or perhaps spending time revising for that test that you have coming up. The benefits are massive for us as young Christians. Now, last week, Ailey spoke about the lies that we see on social media. And when you're scrolling through and you see these influencers living this dream life, it can be so hard not to think about the fact that their holiday looks nice or the clothes that they have look quite stylish on them. But it's at this point that our thoughts need to stop. Now, this influencer that you're seeing, they may have paid for their holiday on a credit card that they can't even afford. Or they might have rented that luxurious looking suit. So that the people that they meet think that they are really wealthy. So that they perhaps fit in with the crowd they're trying to be around. And by believing that and becoming jealous over it, we're allowing ourselves to become fooled by the lies that they're putting out to the world. And they themselves can't even keep up with their lifestyle, so why should we expect to? We should not allow ourselves to become consumed by jealousy when the thing that we become jealous of might be nothing more than a pretty picture painted by this artist to try and make themselves come across a certain way. And I'm sure if you were perhaps given the situation they're in, you might come to regret it. Now, I remember at school when someone got the newest iPhone or the latest games console, the newest, shiniest thing. Everyone would flock to them. They'd be so excited to find out the new features, maybe even potentially, if they're lucky, getting to have a shot of it. And they themselves would then begin to be jealous of it, that the product that they had is not making others flock to them like this person's is. So they'll try and go after it. They'll try and get it. And perhaps then, by the time that they do manage to get it, the new one has then been released. And the vicious cycle starts itself again. And they're left feeling empty as they did before. For those of you that are doing business at school, then you'll be able to see in that what the market cycle is meant to look like. As soon as people become content with the item that is out, they decide to make a new one so that the market is sparked and that people are spending their money again trying to have the latest products. Now, if you take a look at your own life, what are these things for you? Is it designer clothes? Is it maybe technology? Or is it a boyfriend or girlfriend? We feel that these things will bring us happiness, a sense of contentment, and perhaps of value with our peers. But in reality, they all leave us with an inevitable feeling of lacking. The same one we felt before it. And something I've found myself doing more and more recently, and you yourself might find this helpful, is when I'm faced with thoughts creeping up on me when perhaps I see a really nice car or a lovely hoodie or the latest iPhone, is reminding myself that God has given me so much, and by actually going through a list of them in my head, it really brings you back down to earth when you stop and think about all that you have been blessed with. But when you do it, it's not about the length or the items in the list themselves. It's about remembering that every single thing on that list has been given to you by God. That despite any item that is on the list, the only place where we can find true, fulfilling contentment that we seek after is in God and in the knowledge that our value is in Him, not of these things of earth. Now that's all for today. Thank you all so much for joining us, not just today, but over the past 9 weeks with our series, The 10 Commandments. And it's been great seeing you all at Youth Collective over the past while as well. And we will see you all back on the YouTube channel for our next Equip series in 2021. Have a great Christmas. What do you used to do?
Why? I don't know.
Anyway.
So, Jamie!
Hello,
Well,
hello
he's
guys.
there for me. Where is he in real life?
I'm in the top corner for me.
Or that way, sorry, Corin, for you.
He's down there for me.
No, that way. Yes, that's right.
He's here.
Yeah, he's there for
Somewhere. I'm somewhere.
Wait, here.
you. Yeah, on my screen,
Okay,
that's where
Let
he
me
is.
try that again. That ruins it.
I don't believe that just happened.
Colin, how long have you had
Show
that
you.
for?
What she
Stayed in
was going to
perfect
tell
tact.
you was.
Right, what I
Colin,
was going to tell you was
How
that
long have you had that and that stayed in perfect tact?
so long.